You know, coming from the culture, coming from the underworld culture, right? Before the advent of rap, before the advent of pop media or social media or anything like that, the line between the subculture and our culture, right, as a community, was very, very defined, and both worlds lived side by side. Like, you know, I'm from Harlem, right? Born in the 60s, raised in the 70s. That was the ground zero for the whole heroin epidemic, the first heroin epidemic. Okay. There were people who lived in my neighborhood, thousands of people who lived in the neighborhood where drugs are being sold and gangster shit is going on. And if they weren't of that life, the fact that they happened to live in the neighborhood did not make them somehow qualified to jump into the life if they felt so. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of course, people in the neighborhood who weren't part of the life, they understood what was happening, you know, with certain people in the neighborhood and why they were driving really nice cars and wearing very expensive clothes and stuff like that. They understood that, you know, but they did not consider crossing that line and going from, you know, a regular person who goes to work, goes to church, goes to school, and becoming a street person, whatever. It didn't occur to them. The ones whom it did occur to were not allowed passage 9 times out of 10. They had to go through something, right? It was the time that you had to be verified by somebody who was qualified in order to be certified. You couldn't just volunteer for it, right? So you couldn't say, I'm from around here, so by virtue of being from this neighborhood, so and so such such, so such such, I must be a street person if I feel like being one.
I qualify.
You know, like that. Right, I qualify. That right there, as popular as rap became more popular, and then rap started to pull more and more from that culture, from the subculture,
from the streets.
It started to, you know, build itself up to make itself seem more edgy, to make itself seem more sexy, you know, more ominous or whatever, more attractive. The more it did that, the more it normalized that behavior for people who were in those environments. And alongside with the cocaine coming in, and then the cocaine coming in more and better and cheaper, as you just said, it was a confluence. It was like the perfect storm, you know, and now it's like, it's washing away, you know, our youth. You got guys like the young men who just did this thing, who just got convicted for the Extension murder, who, you know, they probably wouldn't have done that had it not been for there being so much normalization of violence within the music that is representative of their youth and their culture. You know, what do you think about the influence of our popular culture, our music, our rap, and so forth?
Well, you know, I think that rap has become almost like the gospel for young people, not just young Black people, but just young people, period. Because I see other cultures, other races now, you know, using the slang, you know, dressing, talking, fighting, you know, about whatever it is that they were fighting about, but all with the same mentality that is coming from the rap. You know, right. I think that and I know I may not be the one to say this, or I shouldn't be the one who's saying it, you know, because
somebody got to say it.
I did so much wrong with what I did, you know, selling drugs. You know, I understand the damage that I created, you know, but I don't know if it's worse to be preaching about selling drugs, about murder, Because I touch a lot of people, but never did I touch 6 million people in one day.
Right.
Or 50 million people in one day. You're talking about now our rap songs are touching millions and millions and millions of people, and this is something that they're hammering in.
Yes.
They just keep hitting it with that hammer. Bam, bam, bam. And then it's not one person saying it, it's like 20, 30, almost identical things to where, with kids, they're influenceable by peer pressure, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If it's a group of them around and they're doing something, then it's one eyeball, he'll feel odd if he doesn't really go with the system. So it's almost like rap music has become almost like a peer pressure thing, where they're pressuring you. You ain't no gangster, you ain't got no money, you ain't selling no dope, you ain't got no car, or your girlfriend ugly, I'm gonna take your girl. So that creates I believe, a culture of people wanting to take your girl. Like it's cool to take somebody's girl now. When we were coming up, if that was his girl, we don't touch her.
That's right.
We stay away from her. That's even if we don't know you. You know what I'm saying? That's the
right.
homie's girl.
That's right.
He all right. But now it's like, oh, he raps, I want his girl. I want to put her in my car. I want her to do whatever. I want to take whatever she got that he gave her. So that type of mentality is a mentality, in my personal opinion, for destruction.